Thank you very much. You may take your seat, gentlemen. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Kenya Kwanza team, I welcome all of you to this momentous occasion of the presentation of our manifesto as we head to 9th August 2022 for the general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, to say we are in a storm is an understatement. There are not enough white-collar managerial jobs in the public service or the small corporate economy to absorb the hundreds of thousands of young educated Kenyans with middle-class aspirations. It is no longer possible to extinguish their aspirations by failing them in exams. Neither can we continue to throw crumbs at them, such as the kazi mtaani, or export a few nurses here and there, expecting that it will stem the tide as we continue with business as usual. Sooner or later, the dam will break. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality is we have 10 million Kenyans who are either unemployed or underemployed. We have a crisis of cost of living. Our agricultural productivity has not matched our population growth. The fertilizer subsidy that existed to boost capitalization of our agricultural sector was withdrawn, undermining funding to the agricultural sector. Food imports have grown from 140 billion to 360 billion this year. To put it in context, we are spending 360 billion to import food and food items. And of course, every Kenyan knows that the price of 2 kilogram packet of unga is now 230 shillings, up from 75 shillings in 2018. As if that is not enough, we are in a debt hole. Our borrowing now stands at 9 trillion. That our public finances are not in order is something we can no longer deny. Interest rates and interest costs is now the single largest expenditure item in our recurrent budget. In fact, it has exceeded the national government wage bill, which is 550 billion, and now it's dwarfing the county government equitable share of 370 billion. We will spend this year over 1 trillion shillings on that debt servicing alone. The saying goes that when you find yourself in a hole, you should stop digging, as a principle. Kenya Kwanza is very alive to this council. The economic turbulence that we are in demand more than a manifesto that makes a catalogue of pledges that, if implemented, could push the country beyond the tipping point. it requires a credible economic turnaround plan, a plan that gives Kenyans credible and realistic hope. And that is what we have done in crafting what I call this evening the plan. The Kenya Kwanza team, majority of them seated here, we have traversed all the counties of our country. We have engaged the diaspora. We have engaged interest groups. We have engaged close to 95,000 Kenyans in our economic fora around the country to develop this plan. We have engaged close to 258 scholars, technocrats, economists, agricultural economists, and people of diverse persuasions. Many of those technocrats are in this auditorium today, and I want to request them to stand up. All our technocrats from the counties and from national office, they must be seated somewhere on this. Their representatives are here. Thank you very much. We are committed as Kenya Kwanza to pull out the country from this storm. And we start with what we have. We strongly believe, from the recommendations that we've had, that the single most important asset that we have as a nation is our human capital, the people of Kenya. It's important to note that we have a 19 million strong workforce in Kenya. 3 million of these people work in the corporate and formal employment. 16 million of them, which is 85%, work in the micro, small, and medium enterprise, both formal and informal. The best way to make our human resource productive is by capitalizing our human available to us. And the primary task of economic policy is development, is to mobilize the churches of Kenya. Did a report. That is the kind of situation we are in, and that is where millions of Kenyans are. In our plan, as we listened to the people of Kenya around the world, we came to the conclusion that an inclusive, employment-creating economic model is about investing the limited capital available where it creates the most employment, and that is at the bottom of the pyramid. And that is why we came to the conclusion that the bottom-up economic model was the most optimal for all our productive sectors. Our plan, therefore, has prioritized the following 7 sectors: agriculture, MSMEs, housing and settlement, manufacturing, the digital superhighway and creative economy, the service economy, environment and climate change. These are the critical sectors that we want to drive our development. I will talk about the enablers further down the road. And we have chosen these 6 sectors on the following criteria: their ability to bring down the cost of living, our intention to eradicate hunger, and the big question of creating employment, and the resultant expanding of our tax revenue base, as well as improving our foreign exchange balance and the whole subject of inclusive growth. Those are the 6 parameters that we used to arrive at why agriculture, why housing, why infrastructure. These are the criteria we used. Let me explain to you why. For example, we believe as Kenya Kwanza that investing in agriculture will give us not just employment, it will also give us foreign exchange, it will give us, it will eradicate hunger, it will expand our incomes, it will also expand our industrialization agenda. Investing in agriculture is because also agriculture is the most competitive sector in Kenya. We have the best practices of agriculture anywhere in the world. If you go, for example, to the flower auction in Amsterdam,